Did you know that the 2026 BMW X5 is hiding a massive engineering flaw that could cost you thousands? Despite all the marketing hype, you will find out the absolute truth in today's video.
Right, because looking at the 2026 BMW X5, I mean specifically the G05 generation, you are just immediately hit with this ironclad reputation, you know? It is widely considered the ultimate family luxury SUV. You see that $66,300 starting price for the base model. And, well, it is incredibly easy to get swept up in the pedigree. You just assume you are buying flawless German engineering.
Yeah, on paper it looks like an absolute masterpiece, but hold on, because we are going to expose a catastrophic low-speed drivetrain shutter that leads directly to five-figure repair bills. And, oh man, a mind-blowing electronic vulnerability where thieves are literally ripping the front end of the car apart to steal it in under 90 seconds.
Under 90 seconds, yeah. It is completely insane. But before we get to the horror stories, we really need to look under the hood first. So the base S-Drive 40i and X-Drive 40i trims, they are running the B58TU2 engine.
Right, that is the 3.0-liter turbocharged inline-six, pushing 375 horsepower and 398 pound-feet of torque. And honestly, the most brilliant engineering update here is that they finally fixed the infamous carbon buildup issue.
Well, fixed is a strong word, but yeah, they engineered a dual injection system.
Exactly. You get the high pressure of direct injection right into the cylinder for power, but they added port fuel injectors too. And those port injectors are constantly spraying raw gasoline over the backside of the intake valves. It physically washes away all that sticky carbon and blow-by oil that, used to choke these older engines and cause massive misfires.
Right, washing away the carbon at the top of the engine is great, but solving carbon buildup completely ignores the catastrophic flaw happening at the bottom of the block. I mean, you still have a heavily direct injected profile.
Wait, so what happens when you drive it normally?
Well, if you live in a cold climate, or if you are just taking short 5-mile trips to drop the kids off at school, that engine never reaches its optimal thermal expansion. Modern efficiency standards force manufacturers to use ultra-low friction piston rings so they don't seal perfectly when the engine is cold.
Oh, so unburned, high-pressure liquid fuel just washes right past those piston rings and dumps directly into the oil pan.
Which instantly dilutes the engine oil. It severely degrades the oil's viscosity. So you are driving around with raw gasoline thinning out your lubrication, which rapidly accelerates bearing wear on the crankshaft.
Wow. So yes, your intake valves are sparkling clean, but your lower engine is actively destroying its own bearings on every single grocery run. That is a brutal trade-off.
It really is.
But look, you cannot deny the brilliance of the transmission bolted to that block. The ZF 8-speed automatic is, well, it's practically legendary at this point. It is a traditional planetary torque converter transmission, meaning it avoids all the elastic rubber band feelings of a CVT. It is incredibly robust and handles that 398 pound-feet of torque effortlessly.
I mean, sure, it is robust in its physical architecture, but the entire system is sabotaged by the manufacturer's own maintenance schedule. They aggressively market the transmission fluid as, quote, lifetime fluid.
Lifetime fluid.
Right.
Any independent mechanic will just laugh you out of the shop for believing that.
Oh.
I mean, the friction material from the clutch packs naturally suspends in that fluid over time.
Exactly. So skipping a 50,000-mile fluid flush turns that fluid into liquid sandpaper, which is an absolute death sentence for the sensitive solenoids in the valve body.
And even if you ignore the dealership, flush your fluid regularly, and manage to get that engine block and transmission to survive past 150,000 miles, the auxiliary plastics bolted to the engine absolutely will not make it.
Oh, the plastics. Yeah, to save weight and hit efficiency targets, the water pump housing, the thermostat, the radiator end tanks, the coolant lines, they're all made of composite plastic.
Which is a terrible idea next to a hot engine. After a decade of brutal thermal cycling, heating up to 220 degrees and cooling down to freezing over and over, that plastic undergoes massive thermal degradation.
It becomes brittle, cracks, and drops all your coolant on the highway, causing a catastrophic overheating event that just warps your perfectly good engine block.
Which is exactly why so many buyers try to sidestep the traditional gas engine completely and jump to the X-Drive 50e plug-in hybrid. And honestly, the performance metrics on that PHEV are astonishing.
Oh, they are. You are getting 483 combined horsepower. It launches from 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, and you get a 19.2 kilowatt-hour battery.
Yeah, that delivers up to 50 miles of pure electric range. For a daily commuter, I mean, you can effortlessly achieve 60 mpg.
You can achieve 60 mpg right up until the car completely bricks itself in the middle of an intersection.
Wait, really? Bricks itself?
Yes. The first-year abandonment rate on the 50E is staggering. Owners are driving along and suddenly get a massive red drivetrain malfunction error on the dashboard out of absolutely nowhere.
Oh, so the vehicle's high-voltage battery SME module, the computer managing the power flow, just fails without warning.
Exactly. The car physically forces the transmission into neutral mid-transit, disabling the accelerator, and literally forces you to coast to the side of the road.
And it gets worse once the tow truck arrives, right?
Yeah.
Because you aren't just getting a quick software flash at the dealership.
Not at all. These vehicles are sitting in service bays for months because the replacement high-voltage battery modules and mechatronics units are hopelessly backlogged in European supply chains.
So you are paying over $73,000 for a cutting-edge hybrid, only to spend 3 months driving a base model dealership loaner car while yours just gathers dust in the back lot.
Which brings us to the absolutely terrifying financial reality of owning this vehicle. If we look at the numbers, the 5-year cost to own for a 2025 model is conservatively estimated at $95,155.
Wow. And if you buy the base gas model brand new, you're going to lose 53.1% of its value to depreciation in just 5 years.
And if you buy the plug-in hybrid with all those electrical gremlins, it drops 56.4%.
And if you think spending more protects you, just look at the M variants. I mean, the M Competition, which costs $127,200 for 617 horsepower, sheds a brutal 54% of its value.
Yeah, you are paying over $104,000 in depreciation, insurance, and maintenance just to keep it on the road for 60 months. It's wild.
Which clearly defines the only rational buying strategy.
Yeah.
The actual sweet spot for this vehicle is entirely avoiding the new car lot. If you purchase a lightly used 2024 xDrive 40i, you're retaining roughly 92% of the vehicle's useful mechanical life, but you are only paying about 62% of the original MSRP.
Right, you completely dodge that devastating first-year depreciation cliff, and you avoid the catastrophic electrical bugs of the current hybrid models.
Okay, so you buy slightly used and save $30,000. That is a brilliant financial move, but all of that horsepower and financial maneuvering is completely pointless if the ride quality makes your family physically miserable. And this is marketed as a supreme luxury cruiser. It features the adaptive M suspension, it offers an incredible 2-axle air suspension upgrade, and it holds an IIHS top safety pick rating. It is quite literally designed to glide over imperfections while keeping you perfectly safe.
It glides perfectly, yeah, unless you make the fatal mistake of checking the options box for those visually stunning 22-inch staggered wheels without simultaneously upgrading the suspension.
Oh man, yeah. When you wrap a 22-inch alloy wheel in a rubber band thin tire, you completely eliminate the sidewall's ability to absorb impacts.
The ride becomes incredibly harsh, busy, and just painfully unsettled over every single pavement joint.
And if you realize that harshness and try to fix it by specing the 2-axle air suspension, you're really just buying a ticking financial time bomb.
Yes, it rides like a cloud for the first 50,000 miles, but the pneumatic rubber bags naturally dry rot and leak.
And then the air compressor just runs continuously to compensate for the leaks until it literally burns itself out, right?
Exactly. Suddenly you walk out to your driveway and your $70,000 luxury SUV is completely slammed to the ground, resting entirely on its hard bump stops like it has absolutely zero suspension.
And, you would think that at least the interior cabin would isolate you from that nightmare. I mean, it comes with standard Sensafan of upholstery, which is incredibly convincing for synthetic leather.
Yeah, and the acoustic insulation is supposedly designed to provide a vault-like, quiet cabin experience at highway speeds.
Vault-like. I have to stop you there because the noise, vibration, and harshness of the NVH is actually a massive point of contention. Owners are reporting this maddening, high-frequency whistling wind noise coming directly from the driver's door and the A-pillar as soon as you hit 65 miles per hour.
Wait, from the A-pillar, what causes that?
It is an absolutely absurd factory defect. The rubber seals around the panoramic sunroof are being cut about a 1/4 inch too short on the assembly line.
Which sounds like a minor acoustic annoyance until you realize the terrifying mechanical consequence of that 1/4 inch gap.
Oh, it is not just wind whistling past your ear.
Right. When it rains, or when you take the car through a high-pressure car wash, water physically slips past that shortened seal. It travels down the internal framework of the A-pillar, bypasses a firewall, and drips directly into the vehicle's primary power distribution box in the footwell.
Exactly. You are mixing raw rainwater with the primary electrical junction of the entire vehicle. That tiny manufacturing defect causes thousands of dollars in catastrophic electrical shorts, literally frying modules that control everything from your airbags to your fuel pump.
And the auditory nightmare doesn't even stop at the wind noise or the water leaks. The cabin itself is plagued with infuriating structural rattles.
Oh, the squeaks are legendary. Owners are continuously fighting squeaks from the B-pillar ventilation grills, the plastic SOS button housing near the rear view mirror, and, get this, the airbag housing inside the rear bench seat.
You have people buying a premium German luxury vehicle and then spending their weekends desperately shoving strips of aftermarket felt tape into the panel gaps to stop the dashboard from buzzing. It's ridiculous.
It's completely wild to think about loading your family into a rattling, whistling, water-leaking cabin. But you have to admit, once they're inside, it is immensely practical. You get 72.3 cubic feet of maximum cargo space with the seats folded flat.
Sure, it swallows strollers, luggage, and sports gear effortlessly. It has the volume.
But the day-to-day usability took a massive hit with the newer LCI, the Life Cycle Impulse Refresh models.
Right, in a baffling cost-cutting move, they completely deleted the comfort access sensors from the rear door handles.
So if you are a parent holding a toddler and a bag of groceries, you can no longer just grab the rear door handle to unlock it and throw the kid in the back.
Nope. You are forced to awkwardly reach forward, touch the inside of the front door handle to trigger the unlock proximity sensor, and then step backward to open the rear door.
It is absolutely infuriating design for a vehicle explicitly marketed to families.
And the sensor issues don't end there. I mean, the proximity locking loop is driving owners insane.
Oh, right, because the vehicle is constantly scanning for your smartphone's digital key.
Exactly. If you park the car in an attached garage and you just happen to walk past the kitchen wall with your phone in your pocket, the car detects the signal.
It wakes up the entire internal computer network, unfolds the mirrors, and unlocks the doors. 5 minutes later, it realizes you aren't getting in, so it locks everything and goes to sleep.
If you walk around your house a lot, the car cycles this wake-sleep process dozens of times a day, which absolutely destroys the 12-volt battery.
The constant network pinging drains the system so aggressively that owners are being forced to hardwire trickle chargers in their garages just to keep the battery from dying overnight.
Okay, wait, I don't even care about the battery drain right now. We have to address the mechanical elephant in the room. What is the low-speed shutter we teased at the very beginning?
Yeah, how does a $70,000 SUV fail just pulling out of a driveway?
Well, this comes down to the sheer mechanical stress placed on the xDrive transfer case. When you are performing a tight, low-speed turn like pulling into a parking space or navigating a drive-through, the outside wheels naturally have to spin faster and travel a wider arc than the inside wheels.
Right, so the transfer case uses internal clutch plates to slip and distribute torque to accommodate that difference in rotational speed.
But what goes wrong is the vehicle is incredibly heavy. When you combine that sheer mass with massive 22-inch wheels and aggressively treaded all-season tires, the friction generated against the pavement is immense.
So the internal clutch plates inside the transfer case physically cannot handle the torque load required to slip smoothly.
Exactly. They bind up, grab violently, and wear out prematurely. The shudder you feel vibrating through the floorboards is the clutch pack destroying itself.
Wow, and it is such a widespread catastrophic failure that there is currently an active class action lawsuit covering models from 2019 all the way through 2025.
And when that clutch pack fails, you aren't just replacing a single bearing. The dealership has to replace the entire transfer case assembly, which is an agonizing $13,000 repair.
And the transfer case isn't the only thing crumbling under the weight of this vehicle. If you live in a colder climate, the front suspension, double wishbones, and lower control arms utilize rubber fluid-filled bushings for vibration damping.
In freezing temperatures, that heavy curb weight combined with road impacts just tears the rigid rubber. The fluid leaks out, your steering becomes incredibly sloppy.
And you are looking at premature suspension overhauls that cost thousands of dollars before the car even hits 60,000 miles.
Those are massive repair bills, but honestly, none of those mechanical or suspension headaches will matter if the car isn't even sitting in your driveway in the morning.
Okay, this is the part of the research that absolutely blew my mind, the security vulnerability. Because on the surface, the lighting system is a major selling point.
Right, the vehicle features the incredible icon-adaptive full LED headlights with laser light technology.
They literally use micro lasers bounced off phosphorus reflectors to illuminate the road like daylight for over half a mile.
Which is an astonishing piece of technology until a rock cracks the lens and you realize a single replacement headlight assembly costs over $9,000.
But the parts cost isn't the actual threat here. That specific headlight wiring loom, which runs just behind the front plastic bumper, is the vehicle's single most catastrophic security flaw.
Right, the cane injection attack. This sounds like something out of a cyberpunk movie, but it is happening constantly in suburban driveways.
It's like a nightclub with a massive, heavily armed bouncer at the front door checking IDs, right? That bouncer is your advanced wireless smart key system.
But the bouncer doesn't realize the back door for the kitchen staff is propped wide open. That kitchen door is the headlight wiring.
Thieves don't even need your key fob. They walk up to the car, physically rip the plastic wheel arch trim and front bumper away from the fender, and access the headlight wiring harness.
And because that headlight is deeply integrated into the vehicle's controller area network, the CAN bus to control the adaptive swiveling motors, the thief has direct access to the vehicle's central nervous system.
Exactly. They take this disguised piece of hacking hardware, which is often hidden inside the casing of a normal-looking JBL Bluetooth speaker, so it doesn't look suspicious, and plug it directly into the torn headlight wires.
They use the speaker to inject fake key valid and engine start commands directly into the network. It's a fundamental flaw in the vehicle's digital architecture.
Because the network utilizes a perimeter defense concept. The software assumes that if an electronic command is being sent from inside the network, it must be legitimate.
Yeah, the messaging between the smart key ECU and the engine management ECU is completely unencrypted on that bus. The injected signal tells the immobilizer that the authentic key is present, the doors unlock, the engine fires up, and the thief drives your $70,000 SUV away in under 2 minutes.
Leaving nothing but a piece of torn plastic bumper in your driveway. And what is the manufacturer's fix for this?
Well, there isn't a software patch that can solve an unencrypted hardware bus layout. The only defense an owner currently has is deploying secondary aftermarket security.
So you have to pay an installer to hardwire a secondary peon sequence immobilizer into the dash.
Exactly. Even if the thief injects the fake signal and bypasses the factory computer, the physical ignition circuit remains broken until you manually input a specific sequence of button presses.
Like tapping the cruise control button 3 times and flashing the brights twice before the engine will physically crank.
It is exhausting just thinking about it.
It really is. And it paints this wild, completely polarized duality of the X5 ownership experience. I mean, if you browse the owner consensus, the forums are split right down the middle with completely opposite realities.
On one hand, you have people posting photos of their road trips getting 30-plus mpg in the inline six, or bragging that they haven't bought a single drop of gas in 3 months because their PHEV 50e dominates the daily commute on pure electric silence.
But scrolling right past those glowing reviews, you see furious, desperate owners whose hybrid modules have bricked themselves at 8,000 miles, leaving them stranded on the highway.
You have people actively fighting dealership service managers over a $13,000 transfer case shutter that the warranty won't cover because they claim the tires wore unevenly.
Or you have owners tearing their hair out, stuffing felt tape into a squeaking B-pillar, or finding 2 inches of standing rainwater in their footwell because of a factory sunroof seal.
So we have to completely demystify this and summarize exactly who this vehicle is actually for. If you absolutely must have the luxury, the prestige badge, and the undeniable driving dynamics of the X5, under no circumstances should you buy it brand new.
Right. You must avoid the massive first-year depreciation hit and sidestep the terrifying electrical bugs of the current plug-in hybrids.
Yeah.
Your target is a lightly used 2024 xDrive 40i.
And for the love of your spine and your wallet, stick to the standard 20-inch wheels to preserve your ride quality and protect that fragile transfer case clutch pack.
And if you are going to pull the trigger on a used model, your pre-purchase inspection checklist has to be ruthless. You must take the car to an empty parking lot and drive it in tight, low-speed circles at full steering lock to physically feel for that transfer case shutter.
You need to get on a step stool and physically inspect the length of the rubber sunroof seals to ensure they are flush and not cut short.
And the very second you sign the title and bring it home, you must immediately schedule an appointment to install an aftermarket peon immobilizer to prevent a CAN injection theft.
It's mandatory.
With vehicles like the X5 becoming incredibly complex, interconnected computers on wheels, where a failing software module or a vulnerable headlight wire can completely brick or compromise a structurally sound mechanical engine, are we rapidly entering an era where traditional mechanical longevity no longer matters, simply because the fragile electronics will send the car to the junkyard first?